Good morning, everybody. It's Mr. Lovell here, and I'm absolutely delighted to be able to say good morning to you all and welcome you all back to this new academic year. To year 8, it's fantastic to have you all back. It's been 170 days, if you believe it, since we were all last together on Dove Campus. And to our new year 7 cohort, a very special welcome to each and every one of you. Really looking forward to working with you and getting to know all of you individually. I know it's been a little bit strange over the last sort of 6 months or so, but we've done a lot of work with your primary schools. And we've done lots of visits to actually see some of you, so I'm absolutely confident that you're going to have a fantastic time, and it's a pleasure to finally welcome you all here on the first day of term. Normally we'd be in the hall delivering this assembly to you face to face, and over the course of this morning I'll get round and I'll pop in and say hello to you individually, but obviously under the current situation we're having to do our assembly virtually, so to speak, here, and there's lots and lots of important information to share with you this morning. Some of it will be reminders and common sense, but there's lots and lots of really important information as well, so it's important you understand everything that we're going to go through this morning. And if you've got any questions at all, please let the member of staff you're working with, your tutor this morning, let them know, ask the questions, because they've got lots of information to be able to pass on as well to support you. But as I say, make sure you talk to me and the team as you see us around school as well, because it's important we all know what's expected of us. So, first of all, this morning I'm going to pass over to Mrs. Hardy, our principal, who's got a little message for you all as well.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the academic year of 2020. We're really pleased to see you back, and it's going to be a really exciting year, even though it's still maybe a little bit different to what we're used to. Now, what is really important, and not to dampen the mood a tad, is that everybody really does their best at all times. You really must stand by all the rules that we put in place. They're not our rules a lot of the time. As you know, they are the government rules. But in order for us to be able to keep our academy open safely, and for everybody to be happy and to be able to work hard, we have got to follow the rules that are in place. Now, lots of members of the team have worked very hard to make sure that you have a safe and happy return to the academy. And so there's going to be a lot of information to take on board. But don't worry, as always, we're here to see you through. Now, if you do choose to wear a face covering, and you'll get more details later on about that, it can be a fabric one, if you want to have a fabric one, or it can be a disposable one. But it's really important, whichever one you choose, if you choose to do it around about in the corridors and on the way to school, that unfortunately, I know it's not very environmentally friendly, but you have got to have a plastic bag to keep it in at all times. I now feel like I'm on a plane. Here, and here. Logbooks. Now, New Year 7s, you won't know what we're talking about, but I know when we went around the primary schools, there was a lot of questions about what happens with the logbooks. And even one kiddie asked me how to get a detention. Let's not go there. So what we've done, we've listened to what you were saying last year, and the logbook is no more. We are focusing on positive rewards, and we have a new reward system. Again, you'll get lots of information about that. So there's lots of things that you can be a part of if you do the right thing. But if you don't, unfortunately, our extremely high expectations come into play, especially with the new COVID situation. You cannot afford to cross that line. If you are a New Year 7, you're going to have an extra special tummy tickle today, no doubt, because you're coming up to DeFerris, and we did manage to see quite a few of you in your primary schools, and you asked us loads of great questions. So again, don't worry if everything seems a little bit too much at the moment. We will guide you through it all the way. Year 12s, it is our biggest crop of Year 12s ever, and we're really excited to welcome many of our Year 11s, who were a fantastic year last year, and also lots of external students from many different other schools as well. So welcome. You may have moved campus, and so you'll be looking forward to meeting new staff and also getting used to new routines. There are extra new routines, as I've already said, and you'll see lots of posters around the sites saying that Blue Bubble can go here on one-way systems. Again, imperative that you actually follow those guidelines. So I hope you have a great day today. As staff, we've had a really positive 3 days getting ready for you to come back. There's lots of new teachers as well, to make sure you make them feel extra specially welcome. So I'll see you around all 3 sites over the next few days. So take care, stay safe, and make time to have a giggle. Bye!
Hello everyone, my name is Alana Travers and I am head girl this year. Now, because head team can't be with you in person today, we have made a quick video just introducing ourselves as your head team this year.
Hi, I'm Ella Hilton Buckley and I'm part of head team.
Hi, I'm Olivia Lees and I'm part of the head team.
Hello, my name is Malik Taher and I'm part of head team.
Hi, I'm Liam and I'm part of the head team.
Hi, I'm Rhys Williams and within the Academy head team I am head boy. So over this next academic year I essentially aim to bridge the relationship between the students and teachers, creating a more community-like environment within the Academy. You'll more than likely see me floating between the different campuses during the year, so if you have any questions please feel free to come and ask them, as I'll happily answer.
As a team, we are all extremely excited to get back to school and start working to represent you all and hopefully meet you all very soon. But for now, thank you for watching the video and enjoy your first day back at school.
Okay, so that was our introduction from Mrs. Hardy, our principal. Some of these faces will be familiar to you, and obviously to Year 7 they will be new. So our support and guidance team are a really, really important port of call first of all, and it's important you get to know these people. So for those of you in Year 8, Mr. Moran and Mrs. Perry are still your head of year and assistant head of year, who you'll be continuing to work with this year, and I know they're really excited to have you all back with us from this morning. To Year 7, some of you I know will have met Mrs. Tunstall and Miss Jordan already, who will be your head of year and assistant head of Year 7 from when we visited the primary schools to come and see you, and I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have seen the videos they've put together for you on our website as well to help with transition. They are really, really ports of contact for yourselves, for your parents, and are here to support you throughout your journey and your year with us here at De Ferrers. One thing to be aware of, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later under the current situation with COVID, is that if you need to speak to the team and you need to come and see either your head of year or assistant head of year, you can't come wandering down to the support and guidance area in the way that you may have done previously. Okay, what needs to happen is you've got to be within your what we call bubbles, and I'll talk more about that a lot later on. So they will come and see you. So if you need to talk to Mr. Moran or Mrs. Perry, just let your tutor know, let your teacher know, and they will obviously email, let them know to pop down and see you. They are still very much available, and they'll be out at break time and lunch times to see you as well. But obviously we can't have lots of students coming down to the office because of the systems we've now got in place to support you and make sure we're all safe. So, what do we expect of you? And I think there'll be nothing I'm going to say here that will surprise you in terms of basic expectations. And I know some of you in Year 8, or all of you in fact in Year 8, will have heard me talk to you about this a lot last year. Some of you in Year 7 will have heard some of these phrases as well. And when we visited primary schools, you were certainly working in a very similar way. So this won't be new. You will get used to very, very quickly our 6 key words, our motto, if you like, of what we expect of you in school. And if you follow these 6 words, you won't go far wrong at all, and you will be successful. And year on year, we've just had another record GCSE and A-level results year with people going off to fantastic jobs and opportunities because they followed these 6 words, and they can now go on and be successful in their lives. So we really want you to make the most of working hard, so doing your best at whatever is asked of you. Being kind to each other. I always say treat people as you would like to be treated. Within our school environment, it's really, really important. And also to choose wisely, just to think and make sure we are making those right choices to help make De Ferrers the fantastic school that it is. And I think really just to reinforce that, manners do matter. We're really, really important in terms of, and we push those manners in terms of how we are with each other, with staff as well, because they are life skills that you'll need as you get older. Be proud of being part of De Ferrers. We're all really, really proud to work here. We're really, really excited to be back today and getting back to what we love doing, which is working with all you fantastic people. So be proud to be part of our De Ferrers community and enjoy being here. Okay, you've had a long time away from school, but I think hopefully you'll all appreciate the many things that you've missed during that time that you can now get back to as well. So it's an exciting time for us all as we start the new school year. Okay, we also have what are known as our 5 Ps that underpin our values and our motto of work hard, be kind and choose wisely. And again, if we follow these 5 words and we're doing these things, then we're not going to go far wrong and we're going to be successful. So first of all, being prompt and being on time for all of our lessons. Okay, now obviously year 7 is slightly new in terms of there's lots of new things. Year 8, it'll be a little bit new for you as well as you get used to our new routines that I'll talk about later. But being on time is really, really important. Being prepared as well in terms of having the right equipment, having the right attitude, having our uniform. Okay, making sure we're there to make the most of every opportunity that we get given. Being polite as well, and as I've already said to you, speaking to others as you'd like to be spoken to. Okay, it costs us nothing to be polite, and I want us to create a fantastic campus here on Dove that the staff will enjoy working here, you'll enjoy coming to, and it creates a fantastic place for all of us. Being productive, so maximising your learning time, that's making sure that we're working hard, that's completing our homework to the best of our ability, rather than I'll just get it done quickly and on the back of the bus in 10 minutes on my way to school. No, that's not acceptable. It's making the best of every single opportunity we have, and being patient as well, particularly under the new arrangements. There will often be, there might be 25, 30 of you in a classroom and 1 teacher, so being patient, we will speak to you, you're all just as important to each other, you will all get your turn, you'll all get your time, but sometimes appreciate that sometimes we may have to wait a little bit. And if we can do those things, again, we're setting ourselves up to be really, really successful as we move on into later life as we get older. So why do we have these rules? Sometimes we say, well, why do we have to work hard? Why do we have to be kind? And why do we have to have all these rules in school? Because it's no fun, sir. And I think it comes down to these simple things that I have never in my time of teaching met a student who doesn't want to be successful. Everybody wants to be successful. They want to go on and live a successful life. They want to have a nice job, drive a nice car, have a big house, go on nice holidays. Everybody wants that. Why wouldn't you? But sometimes there are students, unfortunately, who aren't prepared to do what it takes to get there. They think it's just going to be given to them on a plate. And unfortunately, as we know in life, those things don't happen. Okay, so we are going to push you. We are going to have really, really high standards for you. And that is one of the things I love about working at DeFerrers, that the standards we have for you and our expectations are incredibly high. And we'll never apologise for that, because what you'll find is you'll come out the other side. And we want you, first of all, to be happy and to enjoy school so that everybody is safe. We want you to be successful. And we want you to go on and achieve whatever you want to in life. There is nothing more rewarding. I've talked about it already, but our results days in the summer holidays a couple of weeks ago, when people can go off to university to study the degree that they want to at their first choice university, or do the apprenticeship they want, or go into the job they want, or at the end of year 11 come into our sixth form and study the A-level courses that they want to because they've got the grades. It really, really is fantastic to see. So that's why we have our motto and our values that we really, really are important to us in terms of helping you to be successful. And I think in summary for that, what's really, really important is that you set the standard. What's fantastic about Dove Campus is there are only you are the only students here. There's year 7 and there's year 8, and that is it. Okay, so you set the standard. And what I want this to be a fantastic campus, as I've said, for yourselves, for staff, and that is every single day. Okay, when I talk about integrity, I use the phrase that integrity is how you behave when no one else is watching. Only you will ever know in every lesson, am I working to the best of my ability? Is my homework done to the best of my ability? Am I as prepared as I can be for this assessment? If the answer to that is always yes, then no one can ever ask any more of you. Okay, and in terms of our uniform, our equipment, attendance, punctuality and behaviour, all areas I'm going to talk about later on this morning, okay, if you do those things, you're sure to be successful. Okay, one of the key tools which we'll talk about and I'll show you later on is the planner, which you'll be getting from your tutor this morning. And that is a really key communication tool, because for you to be successful in school, you need you to be working hard, you need your teachers to be working hard, and we need your parents and carers to know what's going on and be supporting you at home in your home studies as well. Okay, so it's a really important partnership to help you to be successful. Okay, so this graph, and you don't need to take it all in, but you'll see very clearly the impact of attendance. And when we talk about attendance, we have to change our mindset. If you were to achieve 90% in a test or an exam, rightly, you would be very, very proud of yourself. However, when we talk about attendance, 90% is where we're starting to get real concerns there, as you can see in the middle of this slide, because that means we're effectively having half a day off every week. Okay? And we know, and there's been lots and lots of studies both within school and at a national level that show that if your attendance is up in that green box at above 96%, you have the best possible chances of being successful. Okay, and to stay in that green box, it's a maximum of 8 days off over the course of the whole year. So we have 190 days of school this year between now and next summer, and we want you all to try and stay up in that green box if we can. Now, obviously, there will be times people are ill, and obviously, if you're ill and you can't come in, that's okay. But if we're feeling a little bit poorly, a little bit tired, we don't want to get out of bed, drag yourselves in, because you will be grateful for that in the long run. Okay, because as I say, if you're not here and you're not learning, you're cutting off your opportunities to be successful in later life. Linked with attendance, okay, is also our approach to punctuality, and being on time is really, really important. Okay, I want you to think about, in your futures, if you're running your own business or your own company, would you give someone a job who was always turning up late? Okay, and if they were turning up late, what does it say about that person? How would you feel about your teacher, your period 1 teacher every morning if they walked in 5 minutes late? Okay, you probably wouldn't have a great deal of respect for them or think they would be a particularly good teacher. Okay, now obviously we want you there so you can have a prompt start every single day. Is really, really important. Okay, so get those routines established early. Pack your bag the night before for school, have your books, your equipment ready for the next day by the door so you're not rushing around. Okay, have your uniform ready. Make sure you know where your shoes are and your tie and all these other bits and pieces, all right? So being on time, again, really, really important to make sure we're doing that to set ourselves up to allow us to be successful. Okay, in terms of our uniform, we're very, very proud of our uniform. Our uniform is very distinctive. Okay, around the Burton area, everybody knows that if they see a student in a bottle green uniform, that's deferrers. Okay, we take great pride in our uniform. Again, we wear it correctly, wear it very smartly. We have our shirts tucked in at all times. We have our top buttons fastened and our ties done all the way up to our collars. On the dove tie, we make sure there are a minimum of 5 white stripes showing on our tie, so it's down to our waistband. I can imagine now most of you are counting how many stripes you've got on your tie in the form room. Okay, but tutors can check that with you to make sure it's a good length. Okay, we should be wearing our blazers around the academy as well. It's okay to take them off in your classrooms and hang them on the back of your chair if you want to in lessons, but again, around the academy we should have our blazers on. Couple of slight changes to the uniform this year, which I'm sure most of you will be aware of. So we have changed the skirt. So the girls' skirt has gone from being the bottle green skirt that you can see on the left-hand picture to a black pleated skirt. Okay, so those of you in year 8, if you've still got your green skirt from year 7, that's absolutely fine to keep wearing that until you outgrow it and you need a new one, and then you should replace that with the black pleated skirt. Year 7, for all of you, should have the black pleated skirt. The other option, of course, is trousers, okay, and we've relaxed the rules around girls' trousers, which used to have the school logo on. So now it's just a plain black pair of formal, smart trouser, okay. They shouldn't be stretchy. There shouldn't be any leggings, jeggings style, anything like that. A formal pair of black trousers. Okay, and for all of you, it's black leather shoes as well. So no trainers, they're not acceptable. All right, and we take great pride in our uniform standards as well. You'll also get this morning a lanyard and a card holder if you haven't already been given those by your tutor. And those should be worn at all times as well. And I'll talk more about your lanyards later about how important they are. One thing I really, really believe in as well is whenever you are wearing your uniform, you are wearing you are representing deferrers. Okay, so when you are walking to school in the mornings, when you're travelling home after school, even down in the local streets and in the community, you are representing the academy, yourselves, all of us, Mrs. Hardy, myself, your heads of year. Okay, so it's really, really important that your standards of uniform are maintained walking to school and home from school. And we do monitor that because our staff drive between our campuses at the end of the day, between Dove, Trent and the sixth form in the town centre, and they do look out to check that our uniforms that our students are representing us in a positive way in the local community. And that's something that last year we did a lot of work on, and I was very proud to see the impact that had. So let's keep that going this year, because I know we can do that. In terms of your equipment, okay, so really key pieces of equipment we must have with us every single lesson every day. So we need a pen. Remember, it should be a black pen, at least one. I would advise you have 2 or 3 in case it runs out, but black pen to write with, must be black to write in, no blue pens to write in books. A pencil, a ruler, a rubber. You'll be given your planners, if you haven't already this morning, by your tutor, and they'll spend a bit of time with you this morning looking at how we use the planner. And you should also have a reading book with you as well. Okay, so the reading book can be really, really important. You'll use that during tutor time during the week, and also each day at lesson changeover. We're actively encouraging you to do some silent reading in that time as well, and I'll talk about that later on when I show you how the day is going to operate for you. But again, being organised, being prepared, having your equipment is really, really important. Okay, so as Mrs. Hardy talked about earlier, the logbook is no more. All right, and when you get your planners this morning, you'll see there are lots of information at the front that your tutor will go through with you. But when you get into the main body of your planner, there's just 2 key sections. At the start of each term, you've got a couple of achievements pages here, where you can list down all the things you're proud of, all the pieces of work, all the extracurricular things you've been able to do. Anything at all. That's for you to keep a note of all the things that you've done really, really well. And I want to see every single student on this campus having those pages full every term. Okay, and I know that every single one of you can achieve that because of all the fantastic things that you'll be doing. You'll also see in your planner you've got a weekly page. So this is this week's, which comes in just for today, for the Friday. But you can see any homework set is there for you to keep a record of your homework. So put in the subject, write down what you need to do, when is it due in, and you can tick it off when it's done. So you've got a nice record of all your homework. Any notes can go in here, things you need to remind yourself, or any notes from parents. If they want to get in touch with us, they can put notes in there. And each week there was a slot for your tutor to put a comment in there for your parents, or for your parents to send a message in to us. And each week we want your parent or carer to sign that, so that we know that there's that weekly communication going on at home to support you in your learning. Okay, so the next couple of slides I'm going to talk you through are really, really important. They are probably the most important slides on this presentation. I'm very conscious there is a lot of information here, but this is the really key bit that we need to really focus on in terms of operation. So you probably have heard a lot in the media from the government, etc., over the last few months about schools reopening, how are they going to open, what's going to happen in terms of keeping you all safe. And that is our number one priority, keeping you safe as students and keeping our staff safe as well. So we have developed what's called a bubble system. Okay, so each and every one of you will be within a bubble. And those bubbles, you can see from here, there are 3 bubbles for each year group. And that is based on the groups that you are in. So in year 7, your tutor groups that you are in, 7-1 to 7-5, create this first bubble here. 7-6 to 7-10, you're in the second bubble. 7-11 to 7-15, and so on. And then into year 8, your bubbles are based on your teaching groups. So we've got C band together, P band, and W band. These bubbles are essentially groups of students who cannot mix. So you cannot be with students who are outside of your bubble. Okay, so first of all, the room that you are allocated to, which is the room you are sat in now, that is the room that you are going to be taught in for every single lesson, apart from PE. Okay, so 23 lessons a week will take place in the room at the desk you are sat at now. You will not move at all. Your teachers will move to you. All right, so that will obviously mean a little bit different way of working in terms of things like art, DT, science, ICT, etc. But your teachers will talk you through how that is going to happen. You'll also all be given a lanyard, and those lanyards will be based on your bubble colour. Okay, so 7-1 to 7-5, you are going to have royal blue lanyards because you are the blue bubble. 7:6 to 7:10, you are the green bubble. 7:11 to 7:15, the yellow bubble. And in year 8, C band, you are the orange bubble. P band, purple, and W band, red. Okay, so year 8, if you have any previous lanyards, if you've still got those, because everyone will get a new lanyard this morning, we just need to get rid of those. You can either put it in the bin if it's at home, or if you've got it with you, just pass it to your tutor, pop it in the bin today. So we need to make sure we've just got the correct lanyard. Okay, so lessons is dead simple. We're in those same classrooms. At break and lunchtime will be very different as well. So each bubble has a designated social space. So you can see here where those are, and I'll talk to you about those a little bit later on. And what's really, really important is at breaks and lunches, the only place you can go is your allocated space. Okay, and you will see the outside space is divided up to create 6 separate sections. Okay, so if it means your best friend, if you're in the blue bubble and your best friend is in the yellow bubble, okay, you cannot mix together. Okay, we can't burst the bubbles, so to speak. We've got to keep you as separate groups, and that's really, really important for everybody's safety. And to ensure we are minimizing contact with different people. Okay, so something else that's going to be different as well, that we've got, certainly for year 8 we'll have to get used to, is that normally in the school day the bell rings to signify start and end of every lesson and breaks and lunches. Okay, at the start of the day the bell will ring as usual. So year 7, the bell will ring at 5 to 9, and that will mean when the bell rings at 5 to 9, you will go straight at the start of the day to your classroom where you are sat now for the start of the day. For year 8, the bell will ring at 9:15 for the start of your day, and again you will come straight into your room. That's the only time in the day the bell is going to ring. It is never going to ring again. Okay, and you'll see why in a minute. And that is basically because the only time now that you will leave your classroom and come back to your classroom, you will be escorted by a member of staff from support and guidance. Okay, so those of you in the blue bubble, you will, at the start of break time, you will be taken out to break by Mrs. Tunstall to your social area. Green bubble with Miss Jordan, yellow with Miss Williams, orange bubble with Mr. Moran, purple bubble with Mrs. Perry, and the red bubble with Miss Peplow. They will come to your room. So at the start of break, and you can see there is a slightly staggered break times here, and that's to do with keeping you separate on your way out. When they arrive at the classroom door, you will have to stop what you're doing with your teacher, put your things down, and you can leave everything in your classroom because you'll be coming back to it after break, so you don't need to take your bags out with you or pack things away. It's really important at those times we go straight out and we follow our member of staff to our social space. At the end of break, okay, your member of staff then will signify using a whistle or by calling to you that it's time to start going in. And again, we must follow their lead because we must make sure we keep all 6 of our bubbles separate. So you can see, whilst year 7 all have the same times for your 3 bubbles, you can see year 8, we are talking very slight differences in our breaks and in our lunch times to allow that to happen, but it's got to be that precise. Okay guys, so we've really got to work with us. It's really, really, really important to keep you safe. Okay, the same will happen at lunchtime. So lunchtime, what will happen is at the end of period 3, your teacher will finish your period 3 lesson slightly early, so you will be able to eat your lunch in your classroom. Okay, so lunch will be eaten in your classroom, and then at your designated time you'll be taken out again by your designated member of staff to your social space for lunch and brought back in. And then at the end of the day, year 7 at 3:10 will finish, and year 8 at 3:20. And it's really, really important that as soon as you are dismissed at the end of the day, you leave site straight away. So at 3:10, year 7 have got 10 minutes to get out and get away before year 8 are released. Okay, and that is purely to make sure all of you are kept safe. Okay, it's really, really important we are following that. So this is what it looks like on our school map. Okay, now you can see, and again there's lots of information on here, but please just concentrate on your bubble and your colour of where you are. Alright, so you can see the blue bubble for year 7, you are only going to use, every bubble has a specific route and a specific entrance or stairs that they will use, and you'll see that from signs up around the campus. Okay, so blue bubble will only use this entrance door here that you'll have been in already this morning and will get very used to using. Green bubble likewise will only go in and out through this door. Yellow bubble through the door off the atrium here to go up the stairs to your rooms. The one-way system that we used to have on the doors here on the bottom corridor that Year 8 will be familiar with, that is suspended. So the orange group, the orange bubble will use the stairs up and down, that's down by support and guidance. The red bubble will use the stairs up and down here by DB2. Okay, and you'll get used to that this morning, and your member of the S&G team will come for a walkthrough with you this morning to get you used to that. You'll see we've got 4 different groups actually walking through the atrium and out to their social spaces. Okay, that's why we need the stagger. And you can see, so for Year 8, the orange, the red and the purple bubbles. For Year 8, we'll use 2 halves of the yard, orange and red. Purple bubble, you'll use the left-hand side of the tennis courts and the left half of the quiet area. In Year 7, the yellow bubble will use the right half of the courts. Green bubble will use the back of school by the pond area. And blue bubble will use along this outside space here. Okay, so we'll get used to that this morning. This map is probably more confusing than you will actually have to remember. You just need to remember your one route, and that is your only way you can go. Okay. One thing I should say at this point as well is at breaks and lunch times, obviously we are outside. If it's a wet break or lunch because it's raining and we can't go out, what will happen is the bell will be rung just before the start of break or just before the start of lunch to signal to all the staff and to yourselves that it's a wet break. If it's a wet break, you will stay in your classrooms where you are, okay, and the support guidance teams will come supervise. Obviously, you'll be able to sit, chat to your friends, but staying within your classrooms. So we're hoping for good weather, obviously, because we want to get you outside, get some fresh air. If you've got any questions on that at any point, obviously the member of staff you're with will be able to answer those, or your support and guidance team members. So you can see, for example, here, these are the examples of the sorts of signs you will see, and it's really, really important we are all following those and we're sticking to those. Okay, so you can see other examples here for yellow, for purple, and for blue. Okay, you'll also see up signs like this, no entry signs. Okay, so if you see doors like this, and on some corridors it will literally just be chairs across the corridor with a sign on because there isn't a door there, those no entry points are really, really important because it is protecting and separating bubbles from different parts of the corridor. So again, we must make sure we're just using our one allocated route in and out, and we're not going any other route at any point. And again, that's purely for your safety. Okay, so Mrs. Hardy talked about it earlier, and again, you've probably seen things in the media about face coverings at the moment. So there's been lots of debate about are face coverings needed, aren't they? All right, so to clarify our position, all right, first and foremost, there's an absolute expectation of good hygiene. So washing our hands at all times, keeping 2 meters apart. If we use a tissue, we put it straight in the bin. And every single time you come into your classroom at the start of the day, at the end of break, at the end of lunch, there is a sanitisation station set up in your room. So you'll be required to use that hand gel to clean your hands again to try and keep us all as safe as possible. Specifically about face covering then, so we are recommending that students and staff use face coverings when you are in communal areas. Okay, so by that we mean in corridors. You don't have to wear them. You don't have to wear them when you're outside at break and lunchtime. Okay, and they're not required in classrooms, and that's quite clear in terms of government guidelines, and we will continue to follow those government guidelines, and those rules may change. All right, and obviously we'll inform you of that if and when they do, but we'd like you to have a face covering for when you are moving between corridors to keep yourselves and each other safe. As Mrs. Hardy has said, it can be a disposable or a reusable face covering. That's perfectly fine. And we must have a plastic bag to store that in when it's not being worn, so we're not touching it and it's not getting contaminated and picking up germs. And we'll talk about that more a little bit in a minute. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you a nice short little video that talks about actually the importance of wearing them and how we put them on, take them off, and look after our face coverings, so we're all really clear, so you can make sure you keep yourself safe, because if we don't wear them properly, actually they can do more harm than good in terms of transmitting infection and germs. Alright, so we're going to watch a little video in terms of now how we use that face covering appropriately.
Here's how to wear a face covering. First off, wash your hands before putting it on using soap or an alcohol-based sanitizer gel.
Without touching the front, cover your mouth and nose. It should go all the way up to the bridge of your nose and down under your chin. Hook the straps around your ears or tie them around the back of your head. You don't want any gaps between your face and the mask.
Avoid touching your nose, eyes or mouth at all times. Take it off from behind, store it in a plastic bag until you can wash it,
and then wash your hands.
And wash it regularly with your other laundry using your normal detergent. But remember, a face covering isn't a substitute for hand washing or social distancing. And the World Health Organization says you should only wear a medical mask if you're sick or you're caring for someone who's sick.
Okay, so I think there's some quite clear guidance there. If you're unsure, please speak to us. You know, we're here to support you. It's new for all of us. Okay, so we'll work together and make sure that those things happen. Okay, so I've talked you through there a lot of guidelines, and there's an awful lot of work that's gone on in terms of making sure that we keep you as safe as possible, putting these structures in place. Okay, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that absolutely everybody follows those guidelines. Okay, if one person chooses to not be where they should be, or be in the wrong bubble, or mixing with students from a different coloured lanyard, it compromises all of us. That's staff, that's students, that's your families, it's your friends, it's everybody. Okay, so we have amended our behaviour policy now, so it's very strict. Anybody at all who chooses not to follow our rules and follow these guidelines that we've laid out, okay, there are clear sanctions in place. Involving your parent, isolating you, fixed term and even permanent exclusion from the academy, because what we cannot do is we cannot, and we will not compromise your safety. That's really important, and I cannot stress that enough to each and every one of you. Okay, that's not to alarm you, it's not to scare you at all. Alright, it's just to make sure that we are operating the academy in a really safe way. Okay, so just to reiterate the timings of the day, because with our staggered start and our staggered finish, things are slightly different from if it was a normal school day. Okay, so as I've said already, Year 7 start at 5 to 9 in the morning. You'll have 20-minute form period, and then you'll follow your lessons and a slightly shorter period 5, leaving at 3:10. Year 8, you need to be in ready to start at 9:15, and you will finish at the normal finishing time of 3:20. As I say, once you've gone to your room at the start of the day, the rest of your movements will be controlled by your designated member of support and guidance team anyway, so you don't need to worry about when or how I'm moving. Okay, so fire drills, all right, and this is really important. Okay, so at some point we will practice a fire drill. Okay, so if you hear the fire alarm go off, and a fire alarm is one long continuous bell or siren in some parts of the building, okay, if you hear that, you must exit the building via the most direct route, and for virtually all of you that will be different to the route that you are taking to go to your social space in your bubbles. Okay, so if we have a fire drill, that supersedes, or if you like, is more important than protecting the COVID regulations. So if you hear the fire alarm, it's get out of the building by the most direct route with your member of staff, with your teacher, whoever you are with, and they'll show you, because they will know where that direct route is, and we'll meet on the yard and you'll line up next to your group, in your group order, whether that's in your tutor groups or your teaching groups there, and stand quietly there to await further instructions from myself or any of the other team members. Okay, so if we do have a fire drill, it's a case of you get out as quickly as you can rather than via the routes that we'll be teaching you this morning. Okay, just a few things about breaks and lunch times then. So when we're going out, as a general rule, we try and walk on the left-hand side of the corridors. It eases the flow of traffic. Okay, and we make sure we walk inside. We don't run around inside the building at all. As I've already said, lunch will be eaten in your classroom before you go out to your social space. So when you are able to start eating your lunch, those of you who are in receipt of free school meals, okay, you'll be able to go to the dining room to collect those, bring those back to your classroom and eat those in your classroom. Okay, so we'll make sure, again, we'll get into a routine of doing that from today for those of you who that applies to. I've already said, but I'll re-emphasise it again, you don't leave your classroom at break and lunch until you are collected by a member of staff to take you out. And again, as a reminder, no bells apart from the start of the day at 8:55 for Year 7 and 9:15 for Year 8. And again, as I've said, if it's a wet break, we'll ring the bell to let you know that you'll remain in your classrooms. But fingers crossed, we don't want to do that. We want to get you outside, let you move around, get some fresh air if we can. Okay, the last thing to be mindful of as well is in terms of toilets. So Year 8 certainly be aware that we only have one toilet block for boys and one for girls on the campus. Now clearly, in order to protect our 6 different bubbles, what we can't have is lots of students going to the toilet, is anybody congregating in the toilet, or mixing with people from other bubbles in there. So if you want to go to the toilet, first of all, please don't go in a big group with your friends, just go on your own. Okay, there will be cleaning staff, there will be other lunchtime staff around the area making sure we're keeping it clear, but it might be you've got to wait, it might be you've got to queue a little bit. Okay, and the toilets will be cleaned throughout the day as well to make sure everything's nice and clean and sanitised for you. But really, it's a case of being sensible, going to the toilet and then getting straight back to your social area, please, because we really, really don't want you coming out of your bubble social space if at all possible. So that's where really working with you for that mature and sensible approach in terms of making sure we can keep everybody as safe as possible. Okay, so working with your tutor, and your tutor will talk to you about this a little bit more. So Year 8, this doesn't currently apply to you because obviously you're coming in at 9:15 rather than coming in for form time each week. But we've got a range of activities going on there. So throughout the week, there will be quizzes going on to knowledge organisers that you'll find a little bit more about later. We'll be having assemblies, and I'll be doing videos and things like this for a weekly assembly for you. There'll be form time discussions with your tutor, and also developing a reading programme, which again is why we need to have a reading book in there in our bags as well. Your tutors will talk to you later this morning about setting those standards. Okay, so our daily routines in terms of registers, checking equipment, reading out notices, checking planners, making sure those are signed, all those sorts of things I'll talk to you about later on. But form time is really, really important time of the day that Year 7 obviously will get used to from straight away at the start of term. Year 8, as soon as we're able to go back to normal operating, that will be the programme you'll follow when we're able to get you back in at normal time. Okay, in terms of our assembly programme, we're going to run an assembly programme still. All right, but it will be done remotely, as I've just said, by video. And over the course of the year, lots of those videos will be led by lots of different teams, lots of different staff, lots of different topics. And we're also going to have tutor groups delivering assemblies as well. So the plan at the moment, you'll see from the end of November, and the plan follows through all the way to July, that tutor groups will also deliver an assembly, one assembly over the course of the year, to their peers on a topic of their choosing. And I was blown away last year by the amazing things that people came up with. So that's something to bear in mind. And as the year progresses, as I say, it's not till December, so it starts, so you've got a while yet to start thinking. But have a think about, what are you passionate about? What might you want to get involved with within your tutor group and deliver as an assembly to your peers within your year group? Okay, so very last thing from me, and I'm conscious you've listened to me for long enough now, so you can get back to doing some exciting things with your tutor. So a reminder that this morning you'll be with your tutor until lunchtime, okay? And then after lunch, when you come back into period 4, you will then start your normal timetable from period 4 today for this afternoon, and then from Monday morning it will be normal timetable for everybody as well. On Monday, just as a reminder, as a notice to let you know, on Monday you will all be having your photographs taken. Okay, so you'll be coming out of lessons and taken to have photographs done. So make sure we're all looking really, really smart for our photographs on Monday, and you'll get more information about that in due course in terms of how that's gonna happen. Okay, I know there's a lot to take in. Okay, and I know some of you have probably got different mixed feelings, and it's very, very different. It's very different for all of us, okay, for staff as well as students. And it will be probably almost certainly the case that some of our rules will change, some of our systems will change as we get used to things and we embed things, all right? But just keep talking to us, work with us. I am really, really excited for you to be back. Okay, it's fantastic to have 800 of you back on Dove, learning and developing as fantastic young people that each and every one of you is. Okay, so I will be getting around seeing you all today and every day around the campus. Thank you ever so much for listening. And I look forward to us having a fantastic year together. Thank you.